What up, world? My name is Timothy DeJesus.
Hi everyone, Aldric here.
Hello folks, it's Kevin Kwok here.
Hi, this is Jeremey Sea. I just wanted to say this about bottoms-up perspectives. It's about real lives, real journeys, and real perspectives.
The whole idea behind bottoms-up perspective was from the word kampai, or in Asian culture, oftentimes we drink until the bottom of our cup is empty and we turn it over. So it's very much like just cheers, right? And building relationship. And that's what we're all about, is building authentic, solid relationships on a global level and being able to see things from a global perspective.
And no, we're not Alcoholics Anonymous.
We are here to be the voice of everyone.
I love the idea that we're real people and we get to share our experiences with real people just like you.
So we look forward to having you join us. Hey, what's going on? Good morning and good evening, everyone. We're episode 22, and today we go talk about physical health, right? We all love this topic. So anyway, we have some special guests here. We got Chen and Ashish, and I'm super excited. So why don't you guys introduce yourself? Go ahead, whoever wants to go first.
I guess we'll save the best for last for Ashish, so I'll go first.
All right.
My name is Cheng. I am the creator of Beyond the Movement and the 90-Day Energy Reset. And basically, I help coach high performers to get out of the rat race and get into a happier and healthier life.
That's awesome. What about you, Ashish?
My name's Ashish Parekh, and I'm blessed and humbled to be on this podcast. I really appreciate to be on LinkedIn Live with all of you wonderful people. And for me, it's just basically just a way to share my story with the world. I'm a pharmacist by training, but I am my current job title is an epidemiologist, but I work for 10 Care. It's a great organization based out of Nashville, Tennessee, and I just love it so much. I love all my coworkers. And just here to share my story about some of the challenges that I face with my health and just how I can improve my physical health and go from there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
So why don't we start with our first question, right? So I want to ask you guys, what are the things you guys currently do to have good physical health?
Aha. I can start first,
man.
Right?
Go ahead.
The most unhealthy guy. I think since the circuit breaker, or Singapore, we call it circuit breaker. It's actually the lockdown. Well, actually also since my last physical fitness test, I've been doing not much, just 20 push-ups a day, 3-minute planks a day, if I remember. Sometimes I do that before dinner, but sometimes I get too hungry and eat first, and then I just forget to do it, and I don't make it back for the next day. So in case for people who don't know, in Singapore, all the males have to serve national service, is military service. So we have the privilege that every year we will have the entire 12 months between the last birthday and the next birthday. We have 12 months to clear a physical fitness test. And if you're above 40 like me, they even give you health checks to make sure that you don't run a 2.4 kilometer run for the test and drop dead, because it has happened before. So I do have that privilege to whip myself into shape once a year for the test. So that's the privilege I have. And that's all I do for fitness.
So just right before the checkup.
Yeah, no, they'll check you. They'll check you out. They'll check you out before you go for the test. Otherwise, if you drop dead, then the liability is on the military. So they check your heart and all that. Yeah. So that's free. Yeah, free.
That's awesome.
Oh yeah, and one more thing. If I do pass the military physical fitness test on a certain grade, I get some money back. But you have to reach a certain standard. Yeah. Aldric can attest to that. But I think he makes like 500 he gets the gold standard every time he tests. I just get, silver, $100 or just 200 if I'm lucky, right? I've never made it to gold, so yeah. Aldric, want to speak on that?
Jeremy is a rich guy. I'm not. I gotta put food on the table, so I will kill myself just to get the additional $200.
So that's what I do, right?
Yeah. Who wants to go next?
I'll go. So I lately, well, it's funny because Jacqueline Young just said hello in the chat. She got me actually into this group with a couple people from LinkedIn and Facebook. Ken Baldo from LinkedIn, Sonia Tarmina, and it's called Miles for Motivation. And it was a pretty cool concept where everybody recorded their miles they did for the day, and it was Team US versus Team UK. So I started out doing that, which was cool, fun, and exciting. And once that ended, I've been really going heavy on basketball. And I know Kevin's been basketball.
Yep,
so I've been playing a lot of basketball lately, and that's great for physical fitness. And it's fun, because to be honest with you, a lot of things that you do for physical fitness, I don't find to be fun, but basketball is one of the things that checks both the boxes. So basketball has been what I've been doing lately to keep in shape.
Man,
Awesome.
I just have such a hard time when we're talking about basketball, right? I can't stand cardio. Like, I have to play some kind of sport. Like, if I'm standing on a treadmill or a pre-core, I feel like I'm just running the rat race, right? You're just going, and I was
Hamster
like,
wheel.
there's no point in doing this. It's just frustrating. So I have to play like basketball or go run outside or do something. So
Tell me about it, man. Tell me about it.
it's just hard. So
I get it.
Yep.
I say two things, right? Either my cardio is either lift weights faster or play basketball.
Oh, that's awesome. So we got some basketball players here. What about you, Ashish?
Yeah.
For me, like I just like to go for a walk. I mean, I live in a good apartment complex. There's like a trail in the back that kind of goes like right next to the river. So sometimes I just go for a jog there, or just do what I can. Just go to the gym, lift a few weights. I do go on the treadmill sometimes. Like the rat race, like you just said, and do that if it's raining outside. But it's fun. And sometimes when I deliver pizzas, I park like the furthest away. That's my second job at night, delivering pizzas for Papa John. So I park far away,
Awesome.
make the walk up to the house, ring the doorbell. Well, leave the pizza, then ring the doorbell, and then walk back to my car. And then, like, I wave to them. I'm like, enjoy your pizza. I'm keeping socially distant. So.
Yeah, I did the same thing. So recently, I'm big on social distance. So pretty much I didn't go to the gym starting in, I guess. So when I'm at work, I have a routine where I go to the local gym before I go to work. But after the whole pandemic happened, I pretty much everything was on lockdown. And when they opened it up, I wasn't too comfortable going back to the gym because everyone started flocking into the gym, right? So I decided, hey, let's put together a squat rack. Bought all the weights and then put together my own home gym, and I am loving it. So I told my wife I can do everything from my home. So this is awesome. And I'm more like consistent now because at work to even make the drive to the gym, I get so tired, or in the morning you're sweaty and you stink and then you got to shower at the gym and then you're rushing to work. So like now, I mean, everything's just home. So it's been nice. So I'm pretty excited about that. So yeah, that's how I'm trying to stay back in shape is because I know as an entrepreneur, I'm so busy. So now I can go anytime. It's just in my garage, literally. So I can just go down there, lift some weights, de-stress, go back upstairs, and it's great.
And I get it. That drive to the gym sometimes can be one of the most demotivating things, honestly. Like, just to get to your car, you're like, man, I get it.
And then the way my gym's designed where I was going is like this family fitness thing. And it's like, you open the door, you check in, and then you got to walk through like 5 basketball courts and then walk up the stairs to go to the weight room. And I'm like, dude, that's a workout in itself. And then you got all these kids yelling and leagues. And I was like, by the time you get to the gym, you're like, I'm totally not motivated at all now.
You mean you managed to get to the gym? I thought you'll be on the basketball court and then play 2 rounds and go back home.
I'm too old now, so those kids are too good. Can't keep up. I only play with the old man league.
Come in.
No, I like playing with the 50 and above. That way, I'm the young guy.
Oh, don't look down on them. Oh my gosh, some of these guys are like super good too. They're
like 3-pointers all day.
Making it rain.
Make it rain.
Oh man. Well, I think one of the big things during this pandemic, I think, is physical health is a big topic, because I think the only true way to stay somewhat healthy, right, is there's no guarantees with COVID, is to build up your what you call immune system, right? And one of the biggest thing is being physically healthy. So if you're healthy, you have a lower symptoms, lower, chances of getting as sick. It's still a roll of the dice, but I think that's important. So I want to kind of hear also, what are your journeys with physical health? Like, what's your relationship like? Were you always fit, into fitness, all of you, or tell me a little about that.
I'll go on this one. So I've always had a very up and down relationship with physical fitness. Always. So it's always been, I'll balloon and I'll get skinny, and I'll balloon and I'll get skinny. And I'm trying to get it more to an even point where, I'm fit and maybe I put on a few pounds, but I'm still fit. But yeah, it's always been an up and down journey for me. I've never been that bad. It's been real thin. And I've been heavier at times, but I've never been like consistently super heavy. So, my journey is much like a roller coaster, to be perfectly honest.
Just like the ebbs and flows of life, man. That's what happens sometimes.
I think, I agree with what Timothy and Matt just said about the ebbs and flows. I mean, for me, like I used to work out, like I played tennis in high school, but then back in 2013 when I had my stroke, and then everything happened, like to even like get out of bed, like they had to like put a harness on me to make sure like I don't fall. And like I was walking the day before, and then after my surgery, I was just like, I couldn't even get out of bed. So it's one of those things where I just had to like take the steps. I had cardiac rehab for 3 months where I had to like learn how to like walk and run again. And just, it was a challenge. But now, I just go for a walk or lift weights or just do the little things just to get back up into this flow of things. But I mean, it's still hard though with this pandemic, because you never know. You go to a gym, if someone had the cold or something and they cough and sneeze all over the weights, and then you pick it up, you could get that as well. So I just ordered something from Amazon and just do it in my house. So Amazon's like a way to go.
Yeah, for sure.
Ashish, what happened? I mean, what age do you get that stroke you just mentioned?
So I suffer from this rare blood clotting disorder called antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, sticky platelets. So my platelets just all stuck together, and like I had a mass on my heart valve. It was like 9 centimeters long, and that broke off and traveled to my brain, and I had a stroke. But for that, it was one of those things. I didn't even know that I had it, but it's just one of those things that it happened to me, and I had to go to Cleveland Clinic for some time just to get treated up there. But it's just one of those conditions that it's so rare, but just trying to deal with it every day. So now I was on warfarin for a period of time, and then once I went to Cleveland Clinic, they switched me to injectables. So I have to inject myself with heparin every morning. Just
wow.
Hey, I mean, it could be a lot worse. So I just try to stay in shape, move around, stay active, and eat healthy, and that's what just keeps me going. So
you want to talk about a journey? That sounds like a heck of a journey.
Yeah, it's been crazy. Every day was challenging for the last 5 years, but Everson Food in Nashville, things have been great. Got a good support system from everyone at 10 Care that I work with. Everyone's great. Love them all. And I think that just helps going when your mindset, you have the support of people at work and then on LinkedIn, just the support from all the people that you encounter. That just builds you up, and that just does wonders for you as well.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's motivating.
Yep.
Yeah.
What about you, Aldric? What's kind of your take on fitness? You've been kind of quiet today.
Actually, I've been thinking about it. I'm just trying to look back on the journey on physical fitness, and then I realized that there's actually parallels between multiple intelligence that can be applied to physical fitness. So I think by and large, most people will think that I'm fit or I'm competitive, but really it's only on the endurance side. So if you ask me to go to the gym, I'm a complete waste. I'm like, this place looks foreign to me. Like if you ask me to do weights or bench press or pull-ups, I'm like, I can do that. But it feels like military drills. Like, so you're gonna tell me like 10 pull-ups and 2 sets of those. Okay, yep, I'll deliver that. But I always feel like I enjoy that outdoor experience. That little, even having that breeze in the hair is just brilliant. So I've always been running. It used to be track and field, and then I went on to marathons. It just feels good. It just feels good on a daily basis. But I think we also need to take into consideration that if we are starting out because we want to be healthy and not being competitive, then moderation is important, because if you punch out too much of an effort in your exercise and every day you're doing it, then you're probably going to suffer from my own term and endorphin overrush. And the entire day you're going to start fidgeting. Like, you'll be like, why am I sitting down? Why am I tapping away at the laptop? All I want to do is to put on my running shoes again. Because I used to run twice a day. I still do occasionally. Wow. So in between, I would just keep thinking about like, why am I stuck here? Like, man, this is boring. Man, I want to get out. So that's pretty much my journey. I've been fat before. That's because academic stress and things like that, I binge. So and before that, I was very active in track and field. So I was lean. And then I went fat within a year.
Aldric, I can't see you fat.
I
think he's full. You need to post a picture of you fat. I don't believe you. I think your fat is my everyday normal.
I must be
I'm
huge.
like, I used to be 175.
Tim, you're just obese, dude.
I know.
Yeah. So I was lean, and I went fat. So during those years where I had extremely high academic stress and I binge, like sweets, soda, and I had like multiple meals, more than 3 a day, I started realizing that I should not be taking my mobility and agility for granted. So once that phase was over, I told myself like, hey, I got to get back again. It just feels so good. It just feels so good. And I think there's a lot of things that we take for granted, literally, like our fitness, our natural strength. Because if you ask, or even if we ask Ashish on his very first experience when he got the mouse stroke, that revelation is a very strong one. Some of my friends, when they speak to me about the sudden shake that they have on their right hand, and they started dropping their phones because they can't control their muscles, I think it's a very scary thought. I think it's a very scary thought for me. So I would say that it's ingrained in me, but I'm not like physically fit. I'm probably endurance fit. That's about it. Yeah, that's me.
Yep.
Yeah. By the way, Aldric, I loved your article today. That was really entertaining.
We got through that.
What about you, Matt? I know you're probably the most fit in this group, right? That's your profession.
Holistically fit.
Picture from you, Kevin, when you were a little kid, that was pretty fit too.
Well, like I guess you guys can all relate. You guys work really hard in your professions, and I think the only thing that people have to understand is that if you want something to work in your life, it takes work, right? And everybody has their own different journey and their own different, flows in their life, and there's gonna be different challenges for everybody. So the only thing that I suggest is if fitness is not fun at the moment, try your best to make it somewhat entertaining and somewhat fun. Because if it's not fun, you're not going to be able to do it, right? So that's one thing. But also, like Aldric, I ran track and field too, which was which was an experience. In high school, that junior year when you had to take those extracurriculars, and I didn't really know what to do, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna take on just anything. And my brother-in-law told me to take on track and field, cross country style. And at the time, I never ran before. Yeah. So I remember the very day I went to train for my first race, and it was terrible. Like we started off like side to side, and he was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna run around the lake, and you can catch up later on." And you can see him slowly start to like away, and I ended up having to just follow the lake and catch him up there. So that was an experience in itself. But never thought about the health and well-being side of it until I had my own kid. And it was always like, go to the gym, lift heavy, like lift heavy weights and then drop them down or whatever it is, right? And now I think about like, oh man, am I just gonna have enough energy, or is my shoulder gonna hurt if I hold my kid too long? And just like these little things that you don't think about until like you get to those different phases of your life. So
that's really good, because I have similar journey, right? So pretty much when I was in high school, I was pretty athletic. I was in martial arts, play basketball, and then I experienced my first breakup in my senior year. I think a freshman. I was dating a girl in college, so and then she breaks up with me, and I decided to graduate a semester early because my girlfriend was in college. And then she breaks up with me, so I didn't get to do my senior year sports, didn't get to experience high school. So I was just depressed, right? I was like, oh, I didn't get to play basketball this season. This sucks. So I decided to go to the gym, and then I met this bodybuilder guy, right? And then we just became friends, right? And he kind of took me under his wings and taught me how to diet and step on stage. And then I started actually bodybuilding competitively as a natural bodybuilder. So it was out of, I was sad, broke up with this girl, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to eat clean, transform, get in super shape, and then started meeting all these bodybuilders. And so that was in probably in the 90s, bodybuilding was actually cool. Where you can't fit your skinny jeans. There's, it's cool to wear saggy pants back then, okay?
Baggy pants, yes.
Nowadays, guys want to wear skinny jeans. That's the cool look. You want skinny legs and buff body. But back in the days, you want big old legs and big old shoulders. You want to look like Arnold,
Yeah, Arnold.
So you gotta remember, I'm about 5'6", 5'5", and then so when I got buff, it looks kind of like I'm like this short little, funny looking guy. So now I look back at my pictures, I was like, man, that's not cool. And Jen's like, that's not even attractive. That's my wife. So So that's kind of my fitness journey. And then, of course, and then you start getting old, you know, and real life start happening. Got my first big boy job as a software engineer, started traveling. And my boss was like, you can't carry your little cooler and not eat with the people you're meeting with. So literally, I would have my cans of tuna. I would pack my egg whites, and then we would go. Yep, I was that guy. So we would go into that meeting, and I would open the stuff, and they you know, we have a budget, you know, PDM to wine and dine our clients, right? And I would pull out my cans of tuna and watch them eat. And then I had talked with my manager. He's like, you can't do that, Kevin. Your stuff stinks. You know, no one wants to see you drink your protein shake. And that's when you understand, hey, when you're 21, 22, you're not thinking, right? So I had talk, and my supervisor goes, it's time to grow up, be human. And you look good, but you got to eat with people. You got to be normal, you know. So I started, you know, eating out, doing stuff. And then the next thing you know, it's like, man, my fitness stuff does not taste good. So for 10 years of my life, pretty much from freshman year in college all the way out to my professional job, I probably ate clean, like cans of tuna, egg whites, and oatmeal, and chicken breast, you know.
Oh, God.
And then reality sinked in, and then you start growing up, right? And then you start tasting good food, and then I figure out, dude, I don't have a life. You know? And I was like, what am I missing out? And then, of course, you know, then you start getting fat, right? So I'm your perfect example. I don't like doing cardio. I like lifting. And then I like eating. So it's a perfect ingredient to get a belly fat for a man, you know? And then I forget, you know, after I hit 35, everything just slows down, right?
Slows down.
So for the last, you know, 4 years, you know, I am your guy that's, you know, probably pretty belt underneath all my fat. And I can throw weights around, right? But my biggest problem is really just doing cardio. That's the challenge. And life can get busy. And so I agree with Aldric. There has to be that balance. And I agree with Matt. You got to have fun. And then you got to figure out, like, hey, what's that perfect balance of having a life? And then fitness shouldn't be a task, and you should be human, right? And it leads to our next question, right? Why do so many people have poor physical health today?
I think, like, to answer that, I just want to go quick back about the first question you asked. I just wanted to give a shout out to one of my friends, Dusty DeGraw, who's from Colorado, and he and I met through quad meets, and he's like this big fitness guy. And like, he has like this routine that he uses to just get in shape and stay fit. And then one of my other friends, Debbie Gasparoni, she also is huge on fitness. So it's just all about, I think, the mentality. And like, leads into this question, I think a lot of people have poor physical health. It's their mentality. It's like when they wake up, like Dusty and Debbie both wake up at like 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the morning, and the first thing they do is like go work out. So like they train their bodies to get up, do their workout. You know, I'm still like half asleep at 4 o'clock in the morning. I'm like I'll get up and like I'll like, you know, do some push-ups or just do a little bit just so like they don't get the blood flowing before my meetings at work. You know, for Dusty and Debbie, like they're just like warriors. They just like tackle the day. I think that's just the thing. I think we're overcommitted and we just are distracted by everything else, and we just forget to take care of ourselves. But if we take care of ourselves, then we'll be better off long term.
That's good.
I want to comment on this question. I just feel that this question is directed at me, so I need to address it. I'll be first to admit, I think I have very poor physical health. And like I mentioned earlier, the only reason I work out exercise is because of this military obligation. I think when I finished serving, well, because I was in China for close to a decade, I couldn't serve then, so I'm paying back, right? At my age, I think I should finish before I'm 50. I'm 45, so that's like 5 years down the road. I don't know what will happen then. Maybe I would be more active in exercising, but I don't know. But right now, yeah, I definitely have poor physical health. And I do think that health, rather than other than exercising, there are two other aspects. We talked about eating, right? That's one other aspect of health. And there's one more aspect which I'm really bad at. I think it's the worst aspect that I have on health, which is sleep. I do very little amount of sleep. Okay, I get by 4 or 5 hours. It's just a bad habit. I like my TV shows and all that, so I sacrifice sleep for entertainment or whatever you want to call it, unwinding, all that. So sleep is where I really perform very badly, and I just basically don't exercise. I think it's slightly better now because I do 20 push-ups and 3-minute planks a day. I'm probably the fittest I have ever been on a daily basis consistently, but I still don't run. I will only force myself to run before my test, and I last forced myself past that when I was in my military service, my yearly one. I cleared my test in November, and I don't want to go running anymore. But that one was a fluke because I didn't practice before that, so I nearly died. And yeah, when the time comes, I will go and exercise. So I mean, in short, really, people have poor health really because we don't put that effort, because it's just too much effort. It's just so much easier to be static, to be saying that, oh no, I'm tired, I got busy with work, my kids to look after and all that. It's the discipline that's lacking.
All those excuses.
Yeah, it's the discipline. No, you're exactly right. Those are excuses, and those are the typical excuses people have, and I'm just a normal guy, right? I do fall into those excuses. So the minimum I would do really is that push up and the planks, and slowly it doesn't feel that much more. But I don't know, running is always a challenge for me. It's not because I can't run, it's just that I don't fall into that, consistency. So that's my challenge. That's my answer.
Yeah, it's really tough to. I mean, it's fitness is a lot of things, right? Like you said, it's like different moving pieces. So a lot of the big thing that I'm big on is habits, right? Our habits dictate other things in our life. So let's say like I love TV shows, and let's say I sleep an hour later than I should, right? And you go into this constant cycle of what we call sleep debt. It's like credit card debt, right? So if your body functions really optimally at 6 hours per night, and you sleep 5 hours per night, you constantly add on to that sleep debt. So eventually, let's say in a course of a week, you're short 5 total hours, right? You'll have to make up that 5 total hours at some point, either like if you take a nap, or like if like somebody's driving for you and like you goes off. Like that's part of your body telling you that you just need to catch up. And what happens most of the time is us as high performers, we tend to ignore those signals, and we just keep pushing. We pack on the coffee, and that's what happens. Then we don't have enough energy to work out, and it's not really discipline, right? It's more like we just don't have enough energy to keep pushing everything else in our life, because fitness is very physically demanding. So it's hard when we can't even open our eyes in the morning. You know what I mean?
That is true.
Yes,
Yeah.
again.
Also, like this, when we did go into the office, I know like where we work at here, it's like the Tennessee Titans, their training facilities close by where we work. Like where we work, like there's just a nice parking lot. So several coworkers, we just have like a 15-minute break. We just go for a walk around our building to see like the different sites nearby and just take in the air when we can. But now that we're kind of stuck at home and working from home, it's different. So we just have to make those changes ourselves and put our health first, and not drink as many Red Bulls as people might do.
Red Bulls will get you, man. That stuff's poison.
And I think part of the reason why so many people have poor physical health too is in life, it's all about priorities. And I think a lot of times as we get I mean, I can say as we get older too, because we start seeing like, hey, we have all these things, and we tell our mind that is a prioritize over ourselves. And then we forget is actually the other way around, because for me to be able to perform at my being an optimal entrepreneur, a father, or a husband, I actually need to take care of my health, right? And that's something I started telling myself actually early, probably last year, where, hey, I need to start watching what I eat again. I need to get back to working out, and I need to actually schedule this stuff in and make it a priority, because I know I'll prioritize my clients, my projects, because it puts food on the table, right? Then I started noticing I started having high sugar, blood sugar issues, and that's when I realized you can actually not be super overweight to still not be physically healthy, right?
True.
A lot of bodybuilders are actually super unhealthy, right? So, and it's all about having balance. And it's like what Matt said, it's about sleep. I'm horrible. I have a global team. So a lot of times at night, I'll randomly check projects and be on the phone, right? And then I catch myself sleeping at 2, 3 a.m. And I naturally just wake up at 6:30, 7 a.m. So technically, I'm only sometimes I get 4 hours of sleep, which is super unhealthy. And then I started noticing last year, I started having some high blood sugar problems. And then I started just dozing off randomly and falling asleep, just whenever I'm off work and my adrenaline's not going, I'll just doze off on the couch, right? And I started noticing all my muscles ache all the time. I was tired. And then pretty much like for 4 or 5 months, it's probably the longest I didn't work out. I couldn't even get myself to go to the gym. I was always so tired. Like I just had enough energy to work.
Exactly, yeah.
And then after that, I didn't have energy to take care of my kids. I was just tired. And I was like, man, I got to change the way I live. I got to change the way I eat. And that's kind of, I think a lot of us fall into that cycle, so.
Yeah, you're totally right, man. You're totally right. And looking at these comments here, like, you have a good community here, because like you guys look at all these, they're saying, stay hydrated, 100%, exercise in the morning, and that's like another habit loop that you build, right? It wakes you up, and it also makes you tired at night, so you actually fall asleep earlier. So yeah, I mean, like, totally, yeah, awesome. Catherine too. She says exercise in the morning, yeah. And Enrique, discipline to take breaks. Awesome stuff.
Enrique was one of my friends that I met from Quad Meets. He's phenomenal. I love Enrique just like a brother, and I mean, he and I chat. We both are hosts for Quad Meets, and so we're chatting like at 10, 11 o'clock at night. But, he always tells me, he always says to me, he's like, hey, you've had these health issues. Like, what are you doing to stay in shape? And I tell him, hey, I'm going for a walker. And then he always tells me, like, he's in cybersecurity, so he just stands up, or he goes for a walk or does things with his family. So it's all about motivation. If you have a group of people who are going to support you and keep you accountable, that's what you need.
Yeah.
True.
That's important. Having the people around you holding you accountable.
That's so good.
Sometimes we just get off the wagon ourselves. But I can speak for myself personally about why do people have poor health. I mean, Kevin talked about it, and for me, a lot of times I would just always prioritize making sure the family's provided for, and work. And you get so caught up in work, you kind of forget to take care of yourself. And I had the same thing where I was getting to the point where I couldn't even stay up to watch a movie with my ex. Like, just that kind of, I would just be so tired. By 10 o'clock, my brain would just be ready to shut off. And it just has a lot to do with the priorities you put every day. If you make it a commitment, then, like Matt said, if it becomes habit, then it's so much easier to make it a routine and stick with it. And that goes for both eating healthy and working out. Because truthfully, like, also you have to make a conscious decision when you go to the supermarket to pick up like oranges and bananas. And like yesterday I went to the supermarket, I saw a grapefruit. I'm like, man, I haven't had a grapefruit forever. It was freaking amazing. Let me tell you something. Go out and pick a freaking grapefruit. They're awesome. But no, seriously, like I saw all this fruit and I'm like, you know what? Let me go pick up some fruit. Like, all right, I'm playing basketball and working out. Let me actually eat healthy. But you know, if you don't make that conscious decision, you just pass right by the fruits, the vegetables, you grab what you need, you go, and there goes the eating healthy part of it. So, you know, a lot of it has to do with your habits. And once you get into a routine, eating yogurt and eating healthy, then, you know, it's easier to maintain that than to do it a little bit and jump off the wagon, you know, work out twice a week, jump off the wagon. If you set a routine, it's 10 times easier to stay with it.
Yo, Tim.
Yeah.
I wish more people were as excited as you to see grapefruit.
Dude, let me tell you, it was so juicy and it tasted so freaking good. Like I'm serious. Everybody go out and get a damn grapefruit. And
So Tim, we have a lot of East Asian audience here, so I recommend go pick yourself up a durian.
Durian, yeah, durian. It's the king of fruits. The king of fruits.
Right.
It's heyday, by the way. It's like
And next time you hop on the show, you have to tell us about it.
I gotta find it. I gotta find where I can get it.
Aren't you in Philly?
Yeah.
Yeah, they should have durians out there.
All right.
Go to an Asian store and ask for durian.
All right. I'm in. Do it.
Awesome. So I like Jake Shirk's question. He said, "Do normal adults stay up after 10 p.m.?"
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I guess so. I guess so.
I like to try to be asleep by 10 p.m., but that doesn't work out very often.
Yeah.
I
I think with regards to the question on poor physical health, I think if we see that as an additional effort that we have to put into our timetable every day, then it's going to be a little difficult because we'll see that as an additional effort. But I have two perspectives here. One is we have to understand that our energy ebbs and flows. So it goes up, it comes down. When we are very motivated at work, naturally we are 100% focused. We just want to do our work, but that will wane. So when you're feeling a little like off, low key, you want to take a break, that would be a very good time for a low key exercise. You know, like go out for a jog, go out and walk a bit. Any way you can do your work, so might as well do something, and it helps. It elevates how you feel, and you can get back fresh again. So that's one thing. The other point is, I know a lot of people are going to say that I'm crazy if I say this. The workouts and work can be integrated. If you know that you're going to have a virtual meeting for an hour, you can be on the treadmill. You can be on a stationary bike for an hour while attending to that virtual conference. Like your virtual conference will only require your facial expression, your mouth, right? But you can still exercise your body. Of course, I don't think you can really go fast.
Aldric suggesting all of us next time we're on the show, we should all be on treadmills.
No.
Right? I mean, like meetings, you can have a walk around meeting. Like if it's a small group or one-to-one, just go down and walk for 30 minutes and talk. It's a lot better. I think so. So it can be woven into our daily life, and you won't feel like it's additional effort for the low-key exercises. Of course, if you have specific training regimes where there are high-intensity sessions, you need to be 100% focused. I think Matt will understand that. It's like if you do track and field, like I tell you, 15 repetitions of 400 meters repeat. Oh man, there's no way you can take your phone and do a meeting along with you. Right? You're gonna have to like, okay, what's my time marker for 100? What's my time marker for 200? I'm missing it. Yes, I agree. But for most of us, when we are not talking about competitive sports, we're just talking about fitness. I think it can be woven into our daily life. It's not an issue. So don't think too much about having that as, oh, I don't have the time. How about this? If really getting there in itself is time expenditure, then you have to bring those facilities as close to your doorstep as possible. In a way that running helps. The moment you get out of the door, you are on your running shoes, start running. So the excuses can be cut away. Because the longer you get to the starting point, chances are it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It would be good if you can just start running from your living room. That'll be way better. Just my take.
Can I just add on that? Aldric, I like your idea, and I've been doing that a little bit, right? So, because I don't like to work my muscles myself. I let other people work my muscles for me. So I go for massages. but that aside, about working and doing a treadmill thing, I do that sometimes. Because I have like a electronic foot massager kind of thing. So when I watch my movie, I just put my feet on top. So same thing. I get into shape while watching a movie.
But let me say this. That is so Aldric, right? Some people get a Peloton. No. Aldric sets up a stationary bike. It works. That is so Aldric.
He's so efficient, right? So efficient. Life optimizer.
But hey, Aldric has a good point. Like a lot of my high performance clients actually, this is actually very key because if you can work on a stationary bike and include an extra, you can actually go low intensity enough where you can have enough energy to do the workout later on. Because when you're working and doing like let's say a walk or a stationary bike, you're not going all out, right? You shouldn't be out of breath. It's just nice pedal, right? But you can actually burn a significant amount of calories compared to if you weight train and exert. So what's more optimal, right? You're actually getting your work done and burning calories at the same time. And that's how you keep your metabolism. So good job, Aldric.
Yep. That's so true. I started, so actually that's how I connected with Matt. So I respond to all my LinkedIn messages on my phone using the voice message so that I can take walks at night. So that's when I actually do all my LinkedIn responses when people reach out to me. So I'm actually taking a walk, and however much messages I have, my goal is to walk until my inbox is finished.
That's cool.
And that's kind of my evening thing. And it helps me. That's the way I can actually do cardio because I don't like cardio. So it actually forces me to, one, respond to everyone in my inbox. And then two, it actually gives me like a time frame of how long I'll walk. So
you're so right. Yeah, I saw your voice message and I was like, is he out of breath or breathing hard? Like, yep, man.
It was a pervert. It was a pervert calling you, breathing down.
It totally put you on blast, Kev. Kev was like, hey, Matt.
Hey, Matt, that was only to my mailbox.
To be fair, he said he did finish a workout, so he should be out of breath.
Okay, this next thing. Okay, this is just off a topic. Okay, still on topic, but I just want to take a poll, right? Since we talk about health. So who here among the 6 of us, raise of hand, schedule like your annual body checkup? Because you really won't know you're healthy or not if you don't do your annual body checkup. So who does that? Schedule annually. Half of us. Hey, Matt, you should be.
He's
what
healthy.
the hell, Matt? He's healthy. He doesn't need a check.
He's running okay. But I probably should.
So half of us.
Yeah.
I do. It comes with my healthcare plan. If I don't use it, then I feel like I just threw away my money because I never go.
Exactly. That's the thing.
But still, you do it, right? Yeah.
It's on your healthcare plan, and I think we also get if you do it, I think like we have this thing where you can get like reward dollars for taking care of your health, active health. So like we get like $50 just for doing it. So I'm like, I'm gonna do it just for $50, and then I can use it for any other medical expenses or paying for my injection.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool because in Singapore you have to pay. Pay. Okay, some companies cover, but if not, mostly you pay by yourself. And it's I don't do it. I don't schedule it because I dread it, because it's like paying money for bad news.
Yeah.
If bad news comes, and after you take the test, whatever it is, then that 2-3 days before you get the results, you're just gonna be like, oh no, is something gonna come up? And so it's not a good thing to do to me. That's why I don't do it.
Gotcha.
Which I probably should, right? Yeah.
You should.
What about you, Tim? Why don't you do it, Tim? What's the concern if you're gonna get paid for doing it?
What's crazy, and this is the craziest thing, right? As heavy as I've been really heavy at some points in my life. I've always had good health. Like I'm never sick. Like if I'm sick 3 times a year, it's a lot. So
No, I disagree that because you could be not sick, but when you're sick and something hits, it's gonna be very terrible.
I probably should, but it's just like, I don't know. I'm the type of person, I won't go to the doctor unless I have to. Like unless I'm like, all right,
that's fair.
Like I have to, then I'll go to the doctor. But outside of that, I'm like, all right, things are good. Like I'm feeling good. Like I just keep it trucking.
No, but you won't really know till you take the test, man. The blood test and all. You can't tell. You wouldn't know.
I just had a physical, so I did it. I just had a physical, but do I do it annually, like consistently? No, I don't do it annually.
This is great. So I think part of also why there's so much poor physical health today, it kind of leads into the next topic, right? I think it has to be the way we eat, So I was just thinking about it the other day. We're such a blessed culture, especially here in the U.S. and even Singapore. We're all first world places. I think food is very accessible.
Yeah.
And now we like large portions. We like quantity. And I think I was just telling Jen the other day, I was like, man, we're blessed. Do we need to eat like a whole steak? Like my son's 7, we all have our steak. And I was like, man, this is like really overeating. And as we don't think about those things. Like we like to go buffets, and we were just talking about how like the places we miss because of COVID, now we don't eat out, we're now cooking at home. We're becoming healthier. And I was just thinking about, man, we would go to restaurants and we would order these huge plates that is not even a necessity because, okay, we work all day. We feel like, hey, it's the weekend. Let's go bless ourselves. Let's go get food. And I think that's kind of our culture here in the U.S. I don't know about Singapore. So I want to hear from you guys. Is that the same out there? Or?
I'll just go first so that Aldric can come in then. The problem with food in Singapore is that unhealthy food is so much cheaper and so much easier to get. Healthy food is so much more expensive and tougher to get. So, it's really hard. But good thing because my wife, full-time homemaker, so she cooks and makes sure that we eat well. And, I think it's just been months since this whole lockdown thing that the entire family has gone out to eat. We have not. So either my wife cooks or we order in. But that's just it. It's so much easier to be unhealthy when it comes to eating, right, Aldric?
That's true. That's true. And I've always wondered who was the one who taught us to have 3 big proper meals a day. Because I feel terrible after the meal. Like the food coma is like oh geez, I have to fight against it, right? So I think in recent years or in the past 2 decades, nutritional science and sports science, they're actually advocating that you take multiple small meals a day. So you actually control your blood sugar levels.
Yep.
You don't eat a big meal and you have a spike. You feel good when you eat and then it crashes after that and you feel like shit. That there's a withdrawal symptom and you want to go into a food coma. So I think that's prevalent across US, Singapore, or somewhere around the world. It's just like who said that we need to eat 3 big meals a day? Like seriously, like I'm trying to do some online research on that as well. And like can't trace to that original guy or girl who actually espoused that, I was like, oh no, that's just a very bad idea. Like, but of course, the other extreme is not that good too if you snack. And I think snacks is the one that is really, how should I say, that's really the one that's contributing to our waistline because it's so readily accessible now. So first, it's readily accessible, and second, we put it all around us. And when we are working and when we are stressed, when the brains just keep saying you need sugar and you need distraction, and guess what? The hand just reaches out, and we don't even think about it. We just don't think about it. It's only when the breakfast starts to pile on the table that you realize that, oh my god, I ate so much junk today. Like, I gotta stay away from the refrigerator and things like that. So I think that's really the issue: the big meals and the readily accessible snacks.
That's good.
Yep. And I think people just need to drink water. I think people drink all those soft drinks with the high fructose corn syrup. That like kills them. You know, like for me, like I used to drink back in college. Like I would just be drinking cherry Coke, and now I'm just like just flavored water, or just like get like water and like get those little flavor packs and just put it in there just to make it better because it's healthier for you. And with my health conditions, I just don't want to jeopardize it any more than I have to. But, one thing that my friend said, he takes ramen noodles and they're like 50 cents a pack here in the United States. And then he just buys like tofu or like meat and just like mixes it together. And then he has like a dish and he puts some seasoning on it or like spices. Like he creates like his own stir fries. So it's like the base is like 50 cents and tofu or anything like that for a couple of bucks. So he just makes a meal based on that. So that's just what you do. You use your ingenuity and just figure out what you can do. And I think also with the health, I think like we've all talked about, I think people just want the quick and easy, the drive-through, or they just order food. They just don't want to leave the house. I mean, it's good for me being a pizza delivery guy that I see so many people ordering food. But then at the same time, I'm like, man, go for a walk. Like some of these people, like they get pizzas, like some of them like have like a big beer gut, and I'm just like, okay, maybe cut back on the pizza, but it's not my point. It's not my place to judge. But at the same time, it's just like, okay, eat. You can have like a cheat day, eat pizza, but then make sure you exercise the next day afterward.
Well, I think one of the things is food's so easily accessible now. You got Uber Eats, you might pay something more, but they'll deliver McDonald's to your house, so it's crazy, it's just, pizza delivery, you get some late night cravings, they'll drop a pizza at your door, so it's just
First
a
world
lot
problems.
harder. Yep. And
First
you walk
world
out
problems,
the street, there's all these restaurants to choose from. No longer do we have to hunt for our food. You just got to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, Matt, being the fitness coach, what are some of the recommendations regards to like my biggest challenge? Okay, I'm going to just share with you. So, I could get some free personal training here. So it's just hard, like, to be motivated to have your meals ready. And then with us, we have 4, right? I have 2 boys, and they're super picky. They don't like anything healthy, so they don't like your greens, vegetables. So they're like meat eaters. They just want to eat meats and sweets, right? So what's the best way to keep because you're already busy working all day, so you don't want to cook like, okay, here's your meal, and here's your meal, and here's your meal, right? So how do you plan as an adult, who's a busy professional, to have that food ready and make sure you're on track whenever you're on craving food?
Man, I was trying to like bite my lip for like longest time, like, because I can literally go off on this topic. There's so many variables to this, right? So, with being, let's take care of the food and the kids and the busy lifestyle first, right? So, the thing that you want to do with your food is make it easy, right? Make it affordable, of course. That's always the case. But there's also, you have to understand a little bit more about what you're eating. That's all it is, right? So if you want to make it really easy, it's just calories in, calories out to an extent, right? Of course, there's different other variables to it, but let's say why do we love to eat fats and carbs and salts? Is because if you can see all the marketing that's out there for food, right, they are onto something. They literally know that our genetics are designed to be addicted to those foods, right? As soon as you take a little bit of added sugar in there, you know that, wow, I want to go for that second bite, that third bite, right? Just like potato chips, whatever it is, right? That little salt kick. You're like, wow, that was so good. Like, I can't just put down the bag now. I got to finish this whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Because it's designed that way, because that's how the brain works. So understanding the accessibility, making it easy to prep, right? So either having foods like that are pre-made, right, when you buy them, or if you want to go like the more expensive route, you can go pre-made meals. So you could go to like a company to help them personally make pack of meals, or you can go to these companies that help you pre-order your calorie intakes per dish. So that's one route, but that's a little more expensive. A little more cheaper and a more affordable route is to go to like a wholesale and have your meats ordered in bulk and your veggies ordered in bulk, and from there it's a lot easier to mix and match your meals when you cook them. I'm not saying that if your kids love pizza and things like that, you can always find different options to kind of put together like a pizza to kind of make it seem it's still like a pizza, but it's technically not as on the calorie dense side. So I don't know if that makes a lot of sense, but there's so much going on there that I hope that was useful.
No, that's great.
Yeah.
And I hear from a lot of people that meal prepping is kind of key if you have a busy lifestyle and you don't want to pay for those food services because that can get expensive. But I recently also found too, just because of COVID, right? The amount of eating out we do as a society that we don't think about actually adds up so much that you could actually afford a lot of those healthy nutrition food services that we think is really expensive. But if we actually eliminate the eating out and we spend on snacks and everything, it's crazy, and now you're healthier and you gain the convenience. Because I sometimes think, eating healthy is more expensive, right? But then if you look at your healthcare bills, not getting sick as much, and you add all those things up, you're actually saving in the long run. And it's things we don't even think about, right? So
and the most valuable thing you'll be saving on is time. So you get to save, let's say, an hour of cooking and cleaning for the amount that you pay for. So technically, you get to save a lot.
I have to say this about this topic realistically, right? It's actually not that expensive to eat healthy. And I'll give you guys an example. This is true stuff, and I want to share this with the whole audience because I think it's important, right? So a typical breakfast for me now will be Greek yogurt and a banana, right? And it's not a huge breakfast, but it's filling, it's healthy, and guess what? The bananas cost like $3 for 6, and the Greek yogurt is $1, right? So you're talking probably about $1.50 for breakfast. It fills you up, it's healthy, so it's not expensive, and I mean, you don't have to go anywhere. You literally open up a yogurt, eat it, open up a banana, eat it, and you're done, right? Clean up is throw it in the trash. So, it's a mindset thing, to be honest with you, when it comes to eating healthy. And, like, another example, like, you can make boiled chicken, and what you do with that boiled chicken after the fact is entirely up to you. But if you cook a pound of boiled chicken and you disperse it, you can have a chicken with salad. And again, 1 pack of chicken, $6, right, for a pound. And a head of lettuce is like $1. So you have lettuce with chicken. And you can put, hot sauce and make it a little buffalo chicken style salad. But at the end of the day, again, it doesn't cost a lot of money. You eat healthy and it fills you up. So, the reality is eating healthy is actually not that expensive. It's just how you do it. And it does come to preparation. And it does come down to, you have to make these conscious choices. It's so much easier to go grab something quick for lunch. And don't get me wrong, I do it all the time. If I'm out on the road with clients, shit, McDonald's is there. I'm like, oh, I haven't eaten. I grab McDonald's. We all do it, right? Unfortunately. So I'm not
I hear you.
Tell everybody like, yeah, I'm the healthiest cat in the world. But when I make the conscious choices to do these things, I can eat healthy, and it doesn't cost a lot of money. It actually is cheaper for me to eat that way than to grab breakfast somewhere, than to grab lunch somewhere. It honestly is cheaper to do it that way. But you have to make those conscious choices. You have to go in. When you go shopping on Sunday, you have to say, okay, I'm going to eat salad for lunch this week. I'm going to have this for breakfast. And if you do those things, you do save money, and you eat healthy. So, it's just a conscious choice is what I find.
That's good. And I think that kind of leads to what we're talking about kind of goes with our question here. So it's our last question for the night. What are the recommendations to improve physical health, right? So diet, nutrition is one of them, which we're already talking about. So, yep, Jeremy, is you.
No, I just want to add on off the back of what Kevin you said about sort of the stay healthy and it's going to cost less because the medical bill is going to hit. And then, okay, I wouldn't say it's a recommendation, but I'm just going to wrap this up for myself because I got to go back to a call. I'm late for a word call. But I think what's important is that, so I used to have this argument with my wife, right? So she buys all these vitamins, supplements for my kids, vitamin C, which they take daily. And it's a cost, right? You see that cost right front center every day, every week when you buy the vitamins. But obviously, the benefits you don't see as much as the bill, right? Because the benefits are that they don't fall sick as often. But then, how do you compare that? How do you prove that statement is true? You can't. So my point here really is that sometimes really you feel that there is a cost because cost is relative. You feel that the cost is there because you see the bill, but you don't really go and measure that benefit because it's intangible, right? The fact that they don't fall sick, you take it for granted. You do not attribute that to the fact that you pump in these vitamins daily, day in, day out for your kids. And unless you know your neighbor's kids, they fall sick every other week, then you realize, oh, my kids are healthy, but why are they healthy? Well, it's because my wife takes the effort to buy the fresh fruits. She cooks and feed them healthily, added with supplements, vitamin C and all that. It's a daily effort. It all boils down to consistency, right? So physical health, honestly, is consistency. Like what we talk about, a lot of things in life is about consistency. I feel slightly better because I do what's the big deal, right? 20 push-ups a day. What's the big deal? Come to think of it, it's no big deal at all. But I'm doing it every day now, as opposed to in the past, I never do it. I feel better. I get less of these aches, from using computer and all that. I do feel the difference, right? And my wife sees me sometimes, when I take off my shirt, like, wow, you have like something going there. It's not much, but there has never been anything going here, right? That kind of a thing. So I think really it's really a lot on consistency and keeping to that discipline. And if you really and don't take it for granted. That's my point. Don't take it for granted. You realize that you take it for granted when you are hit with a certain ailment, and then like what you guys mentioned, right? Like Ashish having a stroke. Then you realize that, oh damn, I should have appreciated more when I was healthy, right? Or at least not sick. So put in that investment, put in that money. I know I'm not the best person to advise this because I don't do my medicals annually, but I probably need to do that. My wife is always nagging and making sure I do that. So really, it's you have to. These are the things you have to, and that is the only way you could improve physical health. Not take it for granted and be consistent in doing what you need to do, no matter how small it is, right? No matter how small it is. So that's my take on this topic. I will have to bail out. Thank you guys. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Ashish. We'll connect right off this call and online. So take care, guys. I'll see you guys next week. All right.
For sure, Jeremy.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Bye.
Yep.
Just to piggyback off of Jeremy's little close there, that's actually something that's really important because that sets the foundation for all of us, right? If let's say like we've probably all heard of it, right? If you want to get in the best shape of your life, eat chicken breasts, eat broccoli, boring, right? Right. So that's something that not everybody can do or do for a long time. They'll probably do it for like a month or two, or maybe even longer. But eventually they'll fall back because they see that really juicy piece of steak, and it's outside of that protocol. So you'd rather do something small, one at a time, and consistently, and grow and progress that over time, right? And I'm not saying you have to do that for the rest of your life, but there should be some type of progress that we can gauge, and we're all just here to get better every day, right? We don't want to be stuck in the same place a year later. So yeah, that's a really good point. If it's not sustainable, don't go that route. Find something that you can start slow and build on.
That's true.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback off what was said by both of the guests. I mean, I think just my friend just recommended getting like a scale in the kitchen, just like the portion control. Because like if you're eating, if you take in so many calories and then you exercise and you burn more calories than you take in, you're gonna like lose weight or keep a healthy weight. And so that's what's really important. And I think again, it goes back to accountability. Like you have someone who's gonna keep you motivated. We could like now like you can have like an Excel spreadsheet because I'm a data analyst, so I enjoy just numbers and being a nerd. So like you have like a chart and you kind of tell, okay, start of this week I weighed 180 pounds and I want to get to like 160. So like, you set that goal and then you just track it. And like you see the graph going down, you're like, okay, I'm making progress. You see the graph going up, you're like, okay, what do I need to cut out? It's one of those things where, it's different for everyone else, but the more that you do that's, I guess, more relatable to yourself, and you're able to take action and make the changes yourself.
That's good.
My tips, a couple things. Small action is better than no action. I know we said that on the show.
That's good.
If you do 5 minutes of exercise a day, it's better than no exercise. And as Matt said, you can build off that. So you turn 5 minutes into 10, so on and so forth. And the key for me personally, I know a lot of people like this, is to just get started. Like, if I start going for a run, then I'm not going to stop, like, after 3 minutes. I'm going to go for 10, 20, 30 minutes. I'll finish it out. And then by the time you get into it, you're like, all right, cool. Like, once you start it, you're in. So, that's always been my thing. Like, just getting started. Once you get that start, then you can even push yourself. And sometimes you do 3 miles and you're like, you know what? I'm good. Let me do a 4th mile. And then you're there because you're already at the point where your adrenaline's rushing and things like that. So small action is better than no action. Keep eating healthy. I can tell you all this from personal experience. It's definitely a conscious decision that you have to make, but it's a worthwhile decision. And the thing I will say for everybody, because this applies to me especially, right? If you eat the right portions, you'll be full and you won't feel really down and over full. So, I think when you eat just a little something, give yourself a break and see how you feel. And then if you're still hungry, you can have a little bit more, but don't go crazy. Because I've been the person that, like you said earlier in the show, Kev, right? You get a plate in front of you, you just finish the plate, right? And I hate wasting food. So when I go out to eat, it's like, oh man, you don't want to let all this good food go to waste. Well, of course there's leftovers, but who thinks about that, right?
It doesn't taste good anymore.
No, it's true. But like truthfully, the thing is really like set yourself on eating smaller portions, and your body gets accustomed to that. And then once you get accustomed to that, then it's so much easier to have smaller portion meals and lose weight that way. Because when you just go on the cycle of you go out, you have a big dinner, you don't realize you can have 2,000 calories at dinner time, and nobody even realizes it. You're not paying attention. It's real easy to do that, actually. So it's just setting your sights on eating healthy and making a conscious decision to eat healthy, and then from there, again, all these things start to snowball. That's my thing.
Now remember, there's a big difference between, and I want all of you guys to know this, right? Especially the audience. There's a difference between eating healthy, right, and eating the right portions. So you can eat healthy and still gain weight, right? And you can eat really unhealthy and lose weight. So there's like this little middle gray area you gotta like find, right? A lot of people think like, okay, I gotta eat super healthy and I'll just get to my goal, either like getting a bunch of muscle or losing a bunch of weight or body fat. But it's a little bit more strategic than that, right? We can't just, eat super healthy, but let's say like, what's a good example? Steak and broccoli, for example, right? You can eat steak and broccoli to an extent. What would you guys consider steak and broccoli? Is that healthy or unhealthy?
It could be healthy.
It can be healthy depending on your portions. Right.
You get a 30-ounce steak, it's probably not going to be healthy.
I'm a vegetarian, so I'll just go broccoli.
How about a bowl of pasta?
Could be healthy.
Would that be healthy or unhealthy?
How much? Yeah, depending on how much you eat. I mean, you have a small bowl of pasta and it's like whole wheat pasta. That could actually be very healthy.
Would you eat a small bowl of pasta though?
I would.
I would.
Okay. Kevin says no.
It turns to sugar though.
Yes, but think about it this way, right? How many calories does 1 gram of carbs have, and how many calories does 1 gram of fats have? Right? You have 4 grams of 4 calories per gram of carbs. You have 9 calories per gram of fat. So just because you can eat the same amount, right, in carbs, but let's say somebody cuts all their carbs, right, but they eat only fats. What happens to their calorie intake? There's a bigger chance that you can have more calories throughout the day if you don't monitor that, right? So just always be careful with healthy foods and unhealthy foods. Don't take it too seriously in terms of like cutting off all carbs, because that brings back to that same topic, right? It's not sustainable. You're gonna tend to want to eat some type of carb eventually in your life, and that's not the right approach to take, in my opinion.
No, and that's really good because I think even throughout, when I was competing, right, and doing bodybuilding and different things. So I look back, right, is in every aspect of our life, right, consistency and the long game. And I know we talk about this in digital marketing a lot. I'm a digital marketer. It's the same thing. You can overdo your content, right? We go, let's just post every day. Just go, let's post 6 times a day. And then you go 7 times, and then your view count start going down because now you're saturating the content, right? And I think when it talks about physical health, it's very similar, right? Like I was always in great shape, right? And for a very long time. And then all of a sudden, slowly, my habits change. And it took little bit by little bit until I fell off. It no longer was a habit anymore. And then the next thing I know, I was unhealthy. And when I was even in my 30s, I would never think Kevin's going to be unhealthy. I love fitness. I love working out. And all of a sudden, one day I woke up. I'm an unhealthy person. Like, what happened? And then to get back on track is a lot harder. And it's just like how I teach people about social media and content and different things like that, right? If you only do 1 post a day, right? It's the little things you do. It can be just a motivational quote. And slowly you build a habit and you start doing more and more. But once you drop off, it becomes a lot harder to keep that consistency. And then now it's a lot harder to catch up to other people who are building content daily, you know? And same thing with fitness. Once you drop off, and it's like Matt says, it's no longer a habit, it's so much harder to get back on track. And I think it's doing the little things and making it realistic, and making it like obtainable. And sometimes you just have to do it, you know? And I think it's taking that first step of action, right? For me, is once I start working out, I still love it. I still have that passion for it, and I like doing it. But it's just getting my mind to actually go do it, you know? And it feels good afterwards. And the same thing, eating healthy, right? It's really hard the first couple times, you know, but if you do it for a week, you start going, I feel good after a week of eating healthy. And then it becomes a month, you know, and I think it's all about that long game and consistency and habit. And that's with every aspect of our lives, you know, so.
Yeah, our brains will be programmed to, you know, what our current situation needs, right? So that's why after a while of not eating sugar anymore, you reintroduce sugar back into your life, and you're like, wow, that's actually really sweet. Compared to if you were eating it all the time, you're just like, wow, this is really good and tasty. I can eat like a whole tub of it. It's the same thing.
I think that's true, and probably my closing comment on that is that when it comes to fitness, as I mentioned previously, the proximity matters. Bring it as close to you as possible, so your motivation doesn't wane as you travel to your destination. You start. The important thing is to start. When it comes to food, I think the best way to think about it, especially if we are making the conscious decision to eat healthy, is not to trust ourselves. So don't buy your meals when you are hungry. You can't trust yourself when you're hungry. You will eat the same things. Buy your food probably 30 minutes before your usual meal time. When you are not that hungry, you still have the willpower to choose the healthier stuff. When you are hungry, all willpower goes off the window. You're gonna eat the same things over and over again. So if you are a fried food junkie, or you are, you know, like all carbs or all meat and things like that, you know what you're gonna eat. We are creatures of habit, so you have to dissect that. If you really want to eat healthy, you got to dissect that. You got to not buy your food when you're hungry. You can't trust yourself. You really can't. It's like how we treat an alcoholic. You have to keep the bottles out of his reach. You just can't trust the alcoholic. Our willpower is just too weak sometimes when we are in that moment. So don't make your food decisions when you're hungry. Just don't. It won't work.
Yeah, Aldric, that's a good point. It's not even just your willpower. It's your freaking hormones trying to punch you in the face. Every time, you know, when you're hungry, you have you know, like you're growling and everything, like it's like eating the heck out of you, telling you to eat because you're hungry. Because it's just so much, right? Like your body's so smart in terms of like getting what it wants. So yeah, that's another topic probably for another time.
No, and I think it's so important too, right? This is what the news isn't telling you. I think a lot of people are so worried right now with, you know, not getting COVID, you know, and it's definitely a concern because the virus is real, but no one's talking about, hey, what are things that you can control? Preventative care. And even for myself, that's when I was like, I got to put in a home gym. Even though I'm at home, I got to go work out. I need to get healthy again, you know, because I want to, at least if I do get the virus, you know, which, you know, I hope not, right? And I'm doing everything I can to not, but you don't know, right? At least I know, hey, my immune system's in check. You know, I'm healthy, you know, and I think we forget. And being healthy, is a luxury, is wealth. I think we focus so much on monetary things and status, and we forget, you lose it all, man, if you have a health problem, and even if you don't die from it, I mean, it can cause other issues where you can't perform like you used to. And this is coming from someone, my father died of cancer, in 2007, and he just worked all his life, and then he just dies from cancer, right? And I think preventative care, is so important. And we don't talk enough about in society. We just always talk about like, hey, the fear that's out there, all this stuff, right? But we don't talk about how do we prevent it? What are things we can control right now? So it was great. And before we end tonight, I want to ask Matt, what's one tip you can give regards to more like when it comes to physical health and being home, what are things people can do?
I would suggest everybody to, if you haven't already, to take advantage of the time that you have this year, 2020. You get to save tons of time, saving time to go into the gym, saving time driving, saving time on all that stuff. You work on your fitness at home. I mean, on a tip basis, master your body weight first, right? If you can learn how your body moves, everybody's a little bit unique, but most of the anatomy stays the same. So if you learn how to squat properly, what's the hinge, right? How to reach overhead, how to reach behind your back, simple things like that, right? And then slowly progressing to things like push-ups, how to push your body weight properly without punching your shoulders, doing things right and consistently over time during this period at home is going to be very important. Just exploring your body and staying consistent is what's going to help you get through it.
That's good. Thank you. And you guys can follow Matt. He's on LinkedIn. He shares some good content on fitness as well. And then Ashish, so what's one thing that when you had that stroke, right? What's one thing that mattered most to you that you can give to our audience? What was one thing that came to your mind when that incident happened? And love to hear that.
Yeah, thanks, Kevin. And thanks for all you guys for having me on. Truly humbled just to share my experience. When you have the stroke, I had 4 strokes actually in my lifetime, but it's just one of those things that I found out is from that rare blood clot disorder. So, one thing my therapist always said was just live in the moment and just focus on today. Don't you have your goal for life, but just focus on today. Focus on what you have in front of you. Take care of your physical health, take care of your mental health, take care of your emotional health. Do all those things necessary. Surround yourselves with the right people. And, reach out to people. I think on LinkedIn right now, just reaching out to different people, taking part in, podcasts such as this, or reaching out to, Matt, and reaching out to him like a fitness coach, or my friend Dusty, who's a fitness coach. I mean, just reaching out to them for advice will definitely help bring yourself up, bring your esteem up. And just, like Tim said, even if you do 5 minutes of workout a day, that's better than no workout at all a day. So you start small and you build yourself up. And, for me, every morning that I wake up, that's a blessing, because I don't know with this autoimmune disorder, exactly what's going to happen and how that's going to affect my life. So I just take it as it comes, but just try to stay as positive and upbeat as I can. That's try what I do on LinkedIn. I just try to promote positivity, and encourage everyone just to be thankful for who they are. And that's just the message for my life. I just want to share that with everyone.
Yep. Connect with Ashish. And I appreciate everyone for hopping on our show. We'll be back on next Wednesday, same time. And we could talk about the future of retail, right? This is Jeremy's thing. So anyway, I appreciate all your time, and thank you so much for hopping on, guys.
And Matt,
Thanks for having us.
All right.
you guys so
Thanks
much.
for having us.
She's so glad you're with us after everything you've been through, man.
I
My
know
pleasure.
for sure. So connect with these guys, and we'll talk to you later.
Take care.
Bye.
Night.
Hey, Kev.
Bye bye.
Oh.